Good morning. I was just talking to my friend Gary, and we both have goosebumps. And my name is Jodee Rich. I'm the co-founder and the producer of NFT.NYC. Thank you. One of the reasons why we have goosebumps is because this theatre is almost exactly 100 years old today, and it was built for activists. It was built for activists who were wanting to get the vote. And they were women activists, and this theatre was built for women who wanted to win the vote in Congress. And what's so exciting for me is that we are now standing here. We've just displayed so many NFTs in Times Square. Did you all see that? Yes. Thank you. It was an extraordinary exercise to book those 11 screens and have them all come up together. So we've just made history, and in this amazing city, and I assume that most of you are New Yorkers. Who are the New Yorkers? Yes. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I'm actually a New Yorker as well. I was born in New York in 1960, and in 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, my mum said to my dad, "I don't want to live in a city with nuclear warheads pointing," and so I was dragged off to Australia, which is why I talk like this. But I'm actually one of you. So here we are in this extraordinary theatre, and we're making history. And I've been asking myself, why is it that NFTs have gone from 0 to 100 in such a short time? So much faster than any other technology that I have seen in my life. And I'm sure many of you and many of the speakers that we have are going to be talking about this. But let me just summarize for one moment. I think that they're tribal, they're collaborative, and they allow us to create value. And that is unique. It's at a time when Google has taught us to search, social networks have taught us about content. And all of us know how to create content, but when we release it into the universe, we don't really own it. And NFTs have given us the ability to own our own content. I think the other thing that's amazing, and again, why it's so wonderful to be in this theatre, is that we are moving from being users of someone else's thing to being creators of our own things. Yeah. And you guys are not users, you are creators. And I'm the guy that walked into Twitter over 11 years ago. In fact, that's one of the ways I first met Gary. And I said to my friends at Twitter, we'd like to do interesting things with all of your tweets. And, you know, I was so hopeful for where social networks would end up. And over the last few years, I have felt that we needed to take more control of our social data. And that's what I think we can do with NFTs. So here we are. We are in this amazing city that for centuries has been the hub of finance. For the last 100 years, it's been a major hub of culture. And we have that incredible billboard canvas to display our NFTs in Times Square. And that's why we are NFT.NYC. So the last thing I'd like to share with you guys is a big thank you to everyone who has helped bring this together. Cameron Bale and I, we started this in August of 2018. What happened was Devin Finzer, do you guys know Devin? Devin is the CEO of OpenSea. Go Devin. Devin and I were having lunch at Bar Pitti down in the village, eating delicious spaghetti arrabbiata, And I said to Devin, we really should have an event to try and bring some of the thought leaders together who are responsible for this space called NFT. And by the way, it was a time when Devin and I would say, should we call it NFTs? And I actually said to my team, whatever you do, if you're trying to educate people, don't use the word NFT because no one knows what it means. And if you explain it to your mum or your dad or your brother or sister, it means not something. So you completely spin them out. So anyway, we thought we'd be wild and crazy, and we decided we would have an event. And the first event was in February 2019. I called up Cameron and I said, Cam, you know, Devin thinks it's a good thing to do. Let's register a name. And we talked for a while, and we decided NFT.NYC was the right name for it. And I'm so happy that that's what we did. That is our brand, and you guys are NFT.NYC. I can't see very well because the light is in my eyes, but I'd be really interested to know who has been to a previous NFT.NYC. Yes? A few. Okay. So that brings me, the last thing I'm going to share with you guys is a lot of you have asked about, you know, what is our mission, what is our direction? And we have 3 values around what we're doing. The first one is we want to give the community a voice. We want to put as many people on stage as possible. And that's why we have this crazy format. There's no music in between speakers. People are on and off. In the very first event we had in February 2019, we had 120 people on stage. I was the MC. My job was to sort of get them on, get them off, introduce them. This year, 10 of my friends are being MCs because I can't be in 3 places at once. And we get as many people on stage as possible. 51% of the people who applied to speak are on stage this year. So thank you to our speakers. Our second value is something that I have thought about most of my life, which is, as humans, there is so much duplication of effort and not enough collaboration. And so our second value here is to bring people together who are working on like projects. And so my wish from this event is that all the people who are working on ticketing, those who are working on generative art, those people who are working on each category of NFT get together. And I think we've won on that because there are 300 satellite events this year around NFT.NYC. You're a great audience, by the way, thank you. And then the last value we have, and I don't think we've gotten there in previous years, but I think we're on the way. We want to share what we do with the broader community. We want the broader community to know why NFTs are going to be so disruptive to so many industries. And I mean disruptive in a really positive way. And I think we're getting there this year. We've had 240 reporters from general media want to be part of this, and we've given away 240 tickets to mainstream media. And the last thing I'm going to do is introduce my friend, who I've known for many, many years. We had a call with Gary about 8 weeks ago, right at the moment that my team were just going crazy. Jodee, we can't have so many people. We're a tiny little team. And we had a call with Gary, and Gary said, you have an opportunity to make NFT.NYC the South by Southwest of New York. And so that really motivated the team, and that's, I guess, where we're heading. This event, we've sold 5,000 tickets. We have 3,000 people on a wait list. I think that next year, in June, at our next event, we could have between 10 and 20,000 people. So we're on the way, guys. Thank you very much.
New York, what's good?
So I said I would start with, what was the moment when you fell in love with NFTs?
It was a beautiful evening. No, I always talk about Aaron Battalion and Kevin Rose when I talk about origins for me because they were instrumental. Aaron Battalion was the former CTO of Living Social, a Groupon competitor in the 2007-8 era, great technologist. And he made me, at South by Southwest, we used to do something called the jam session, and about midnight every night, we would get a group of 10, 15, 20 people together, and we would just talk about the space until 3, 4, 5 into the morning. And it was where I learned so much in 2006, 7, 8, 9 from the people that went on to build some of the most significant startups and platforms. And we would always talk Web 2, social, and then in 15, they started talking about Bitcoin, and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? I really struggled with the concept and was just listening, and it was probably the longest 2 hours because I didn't say a word. I was just absorbing. And it was the following year where Aaron told me about Ethereum.
And this was what, in 2010?
No, this was maybe 15 or 16, I'm not sure. But Ethereum immediately clicked for me as a platform, and developers build on top of it. I was also thinking a ton at the time about the Apple platform versus Android, open, closed. Wait, is Apple like Microsoft now? And Android, I was just thinking about those kind of things. So the Ethereum thing really hit. A year later, I saw CryptoKitties, but I'm talk about a miss. I saw it. I went to kind of go deep into it. Whatever happened, a meeting, something silly, got diverted and never really got to go deep into it, but was aware of it and was like, oh, that's cool. Like, will people collect digital things? I was infatuated with Farmville. The fact that people were buying virtual sheep to have clout. When I see all the Bored Ape stuff now, I'm like, that used to be a fucking sheep, right? And Zay Frank, if you remember, who was really one of the pioneers of video blogging, even before I did Wine Library TV, he sold virtual little duckies under his video if you wanted to support his show. So it was always kind of there. Gaming was obvious to me.
So you missed CryptoKitties, but...
I missed it, but I was aware there was something, which I know I'm going long-winded, but I want to give you the context. This summer, Fred Wilson emailed me, and he's like, you need to meet this kid, Roham. You're big into the sports card thing. He's doing something interesting. And I met with Roham through virtual, and he broke down NBA Top Shot, and I was infatuated. I thought it was so cool. I thought we were ready. Roblox, Minecraft.
So it was Top Shot that was that moment?
Nope. Once again, I fucked up. It was May, June, and I was navigating VaynerMedia and VaynerX. We're a big company. We were deep in COVID. Most of our clients weren't paying on time, and we were in this weird spot where we weren't small enough or big enough to get any government funding. So I was really fucking navigating some choppy ass waters. So I just couldn't give it the energy because I had responsibility. So then Top Shot goes bananas in the fall. And I'm like, fuck. And, I'm watching it, but I'm still navigating the year. And I said to myself, something's happening. I'm going to, in December, when I have those 2 weeks off, when I can come up for air, I'm going to dig in deep. And that's what I tend to do during my holidays. Like, I decompress by just consuming something I don't know much about.
So this was December last year?
Yes. So in December, and I get really excited, I'm really digging deep, and then Kevin Rose and I are talking, and he's thanking me because I got him to buy some Jordan rookies at a really low price, and we're talking collectibles, and he's like showing me his X-Men comic books on Zoom, and we're really nerding it the fuck out. And then he goes, do you have a punk? And I'm like, what's a punk? and he dropped 3 minutes on CryptoPunks. I had to run because the family something, and then that night, started a 45 to 75 hour journey over a 1 week period where I consumed everything about CryptoPunks, and by mid-January I decided that I was going to buy a lot of them.
But what was it about CryptoPunks that sort of made you want to be so obsessive that you just jumped in?
At that point, because of what I was already doing, I had felt we were close to the time. My career, WineLibrary.com in 96, so, what I did in social in 05, 06, my career is what I'm doing right now with VR. I watch from very far away, and then when I think they're ready to jump in a year, in 2 years, in 18 months, in 9 months, when it's on the pre-dawn of the moment, that's when I jump. And I think that's what I'm good at.
So you felt December last year was the pre-dawn.
Yes, I felt that 2021 was gonna be a year.
And then you went all in.
All in.
I have never seen any technology so rapidly adopted.
There's a reason. There's money and greed involved. And that's a problem.
But don't you think that might be one.
That's why it's happening, Jodee. That's okay if we collectively understand it, right? We have to understand that there's amazing things going on here, but let there be no confusion. 90% of the people currently in our space are in the business of day trading NFTs to make a bag. And that's okay, but we have to understand it. It's also dangerous. We have to understand it. This happened with internet stocks in '95. This is what happens. There was something called gold. That's what we did. It was called the gold rush. Like, this happens in the macro. This is the most interesting technology shift since the internet decided to go social.
I think there's been pent-up demand rather than necessarily greed to actually own your own content. And it may be that your friends are the ones who are the day traders, but my friends... I think there's a broader community that actually wants to see something about themselves in their NFTs or collect.
100%. That's why it's going to be phenomenal. It's creative. It's bringing a lot of us back to a creative place that we gave up at 7, 9, 12, 13. There's incredible nirvana in this moment. What the energy I'm bringing is, let's not be hypocrites. I'm sitting at dinners and meetings and watching conversations and discords of, we're the anti-establishment, we're this, we're that, but then what they're really saying is, I'm gonna mint this and flip it. And so what we have to be collectively aware of is, if we don't go through this moment with eyes wide open, let me tell you how this always plays out when we don't go in with eyes wide open. It becomes oversaturated, it becomes the conversation's around money. There's there's tons of conversation around art. There's even more conversation around the money. And money scares me because people make bad decisions.
Yeah, it scares me too.
And I'm watching. The thing I do for a living is I watch. You know, I talk a lot, so I confuse people, because it always seems like I'm talking because I talk a lot and I pump out a lot of content. But the reality is, 90% of my day is watching. And I'm watching, and people are very clever, and some people are not clever, but it all is going around the same thing. This reminds me a lot of Web 2 on the great things. Take control of our own, all the stuff. You know, Web 2 started off very Nirvana too. But let there be
But it didn't work out that way.
Of course it did. I love how everyone's like, social media is so bad. I'm like, you mean you liked the alternative of mainstream media? You mean the media communication infrastructure that led to the most fascism, dictatorship, and wars? Let's not get confused right now. I understand the current conversation is to razz social, but this concept that the media that used to be controlled by 49 people was so much better, I think we were a little bit lacking thoughtfulness to the conversation.
Well, let me put it differently though, which is, we have, as consumers, we have jumped on many trends. You know, microcomputers, Apple, various brands, mobile telephony, Nokia, BlackBerry, and then more recently social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Google. And every time as consumers we've jumped in with both feet, someone else has ended up controlling what we're doing. What I love about where we are now, apart from the money-making part, is that it's actually decentralized.
It's not decentralized.
I think it is.
No, it's really not. Let's talk about why. The technology's decentralized. Is anybody watching what's going on? The humans become the centralization.
But that moves. Because the centralization is moving, because the technology allows the centralization to move.
Until we take accountability for our own actions, we will blame platforms and people. Guys, Gals, this is an important conversation. Everyone's like, this is awesome, it's decentralization. I spent 13 hours discovering an artist named Sarah in Texas that I like, and just literally say, oh, I like this art. And then I get 400 DMs saying, you're the centralization now, you motherfucker. Okay, then this thought, the biggest issue that leads to unhappiness and anxiety in society is the decision that somebody else controls you. Like, what are you gonna blame when it becomes decentralized? Other humans? Something else? Like, what are you gonna blame? Like, it's fascinating. Like, you were there. Social was competing against Rupert Murdoch and 2 other people, and Reddit, like 3 old white dudes that controlled all our thoughts. Social. Now it's like, this fucking algorithm makes me a racist. Fuck you. You're a racist. Facebook made 0 people racist. Facebook exposed the racists. So I'm not confused what the current conversation is. I'm very happy that everyone's excited to blame Twitter and Facebook, and I'll be here in 10 years sitting here, and you'll be blaming centralization allowed humans to have too much control. Because they're blaming Elon, Jodee.
Say again?
They're blaming Elon.
No,
Yes,
no one would blame Elon.
Of course they're blaming Elon. Pumped it up, pumped it down. Guys, you know what's decentralized? When you have enough self-esteem to think for yourself. That's decentralized. This is gonna play out very, very simply. It's going to become decentralized technology. There's gonna be, governments are gonna fight for centralization.
I don't know how, I think you've sort of manipulated the argument. I think where we were going was the value creation in social networks is centralized, and the value creation in the NFT space is decentralized.
It just wasn't. This thought that Facebook Inc. and Twitter and everybody else got all the value, what about the 8 trillion fucking influencers that had no audience, that paid nothing to get attention in return and make millions and millions of dollars? What about that, Jodee? Like, this thought that they kept all the like, it's absurd. It's real. Like, this is.
Oh, you're talking about the influencers on social who make money out of having lots of followers.
You mean the people that paid nothing for the attention in a world where you pay for attention? Yes, I'm talking about that. It's a very important conversation.
It's a great conversation.
Right, because pre-social media, if you wanted attention, I did this for my dad's business. I had to pay $80,000 to a newspaper to get a full-page ad. Then I just made a YouTube video. Like, there's a trade there.
But don't you think one of the craziest things in the history of marketing is that CMOs of brands paid to have people follow their Facebook page, and then they paid Facebook
CMO of brands, of big companies, don't know what's going on in the reality of the current marketplace. I do this every day for a living.
But I think the CMO of brands now have an opportunity to have their own NFT marketplaces with their own fans.
As they should. And I can't wait for it.
But on their own platforms, not deep inside Facebook, where Facebook.
Jodee, I can't wait. I'm here for it.
I love your work.
I love you too. Like, I'm here for it. But I think the energy I'm bringing this morning is, let's have 360 conversations. Like, 360 conversations are healthy. Like pay attention to what's happening. Here's a good one in NFT land. The community's gonna drive it. Let's talk about that.
This is the community, by the way.
This is a great community.
This is the community.
Let's talk about what's happening in our space. Let's go into the details. Gary, this project, this porcupine with fucking a clown nose, right? This project's gonna work not because of the founders, but because of the communities. So I sit and think about that, right? So, Jodee, do you know how many Chicago Bulls fans there were in my New Jersey high school in 1992?
Say again. What?
How many? I know you're an Aussie. How many?
I'm not. I'm a New Yorker.
I know you're a New Yorker.
I told you I was a New Yorker.
You're for 40 seconds. Jodee, listen. How many Chicago Bulls fans were in my New Jersey high school in 1992?
Tell me.
Half the fucking school.
Wow.
Because Michael Jordan was doing his thing and everybody in the community was wearing Bulls swag. How many Bulls fans are in my high school in New Jersey right now, Jodee? 0. the community is all for it because their money's tied up in it. But if the founders of the project can't navigate it to success, the fans aren't going to show up to the stadium. We have to be very thoughtful about this. There's just a lot of things happen. Listen, Jodee, you were there in 05, 06, 07 when I was coming up.
Yeah, we both joined Twitter the same
That's right.
month, yeah.
You recall like that there was all those combos, and I think the reason I get to be here today is because I've navigated those 15 years a specific way. And for me, when I my obligation when I do an interview like this is I'm gonna give everybody here my best stuff. They're gonna do whatever they can do with it. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I could be right. But what I'm watching is what I saw in 06 and 07, which is the conversation's one-dimensional. And if you peel the layer off, an unfortunate amount of it is really about short-term economics. And I think that for us to achieve what we all probably subconsciously and consciously want, we need to level up the convo of what's happening here. And there's a lot happening here, and a lot of good. But we also have to watch out for some of the things that are brewing.
So just zooming out to 35,000 feet, what industries do you think are going to be disrupted by NFTs over the next 12 months?
Over the next 12 months, I mean, to be frank, I don't really think about it in that terms. I'll tell you why. If you asked me that question in 1995 about the internet, I wouldn't have known that Jeff Bezos' talent was going to be deployed against bookstores. I wouldn't have known that, right? I wouldn't have known that some guy whose wife was a Pez collector was going to build eBay. But I knew in 1995, if I was sitting here as a 20-year-old, I would have said all of them. And that's what I felt about social, and that's what I know is happening right here, right now. Every business is going to be affected by what we're talking about right now. I just don't know what gal in Tennessee has an idea right now and is going to start something that's going to go after this, or what person in Harlem is going to go after transportation. But what I can tell you is there won't be an industry not addressed, affected, changed, impacted by the infrastructure of decentralized servers with a platform, whether it's Sol or Cardano or ETH, with apps being built on top of it at scale. It's gonna fucking change the world, and it's gonna change in a big fucking way.
Well, I'd like to say thank you to you on behalf of the community, because many people say to me from outside this community, why have NFTs been so successful? And I say three things to them. One of the smartest marketing programs, campaigns I've ever seen, for $69 million. Everyone in the world was talking about the sale of the Beeple artwork. Correct. That was amazing. That's one.
Moment.
That's one. People staying at home using Clubhouse, because Clubhouse was, and not in this order, by the way. And then the last thing is you, because you have done so much for this community in being so passionate about it. So big thank you.
It's very nice. Everybody, it's really why I want to talk. It's funny, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman. I want to go to a garage sale and buy something for $1 for $5. It doesn't mean I don't understand what's happening in the macro that I want everybody to be more thoughtful about. And more importantly, the thing we have to watch out for is the hypocrisy. Like, if the bigger danger is the way we're talking about it, but then really it's about, can I flip this for 5x, right? Like, we have to be very conscious about this, because here's what's likely going to happen if we stay this way. If we stay this way, then what's going to really happen is we're going to have a massive crash, because there's too much supply, demand won't catch up, people are moving around communities. I'm incredibly worried about people betting money they can't afford. If you look at Wall Street, when people bet money they can't afford and they lose it all, it leads to suicide. Is our space ready for somebody to commit suicide because they got a rug pull? Right? Like, there's a lot here.
See, I'm really surprised how much you're focusing on the flipping part, because I see so many people in the broader community who, they want to have a CryptoPunk because they might think it looks like them or their wife or someone. In fact, we have someone talking later today about that. And it's tribal. It's tribal. I don't think it's just about the flipping.
Listen, I appreciate that. And what I'm trying to do here in the limited time is bring a conversation to the forefront that I think could add, because I'm buying everything that I think we're all buying, right? There's so much, there's so much excitement. I don't think that many people are buying a $500,000 CryptoPunk because it looks like them.
Well, wait till you hear who said that. Wait till you hear there's someone talking today about why they did that.
But I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I think people...
Well, but CryptoPunk was a placeholder for art, and for things, for collections.
Look, this has been the greatest thing that has happened to the independent artist in a long time, and I'm fucking here for it because I love all of you.
Amen. Amen.
1. 2, there is just the thing I loved about 06 to 09, the friendships that you're all about to make with each other. Like, please, 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 whenever there's, I don't know what the programming looks like here, but if you go out for a few minutes, please, some people are more introverted, I get that. But for people that are a little bit more introverted, things of that nature, this is exactly the community at this moment where everybody is as excited for you to come and say hello to them as they are to you. This is literally your best friend, your business partner, somebody you might marry is literally sitting in here right now. And I know this because I saw it in the last 2 waves. Please push yourself to say hello to a stranger when you guys have breaks. Please.
Totally. I wish we had longer.
We're done?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think David's on soon. What about a couple of questions from the audience, and then we'll move on. Yeah. I can't see very well, but who wants to ask a question? Okay, what about here? I might have to relay. If you tell me, I'll tell everyone.
Hey guys, I'm Luke from the UK. Nice to meet you all.
Luke!
And,
Luke!
Gary, I'd like a bit of advice for us younger guys especially. You talk about sort of in the 90s, Web 2.0 growing, financial crisis, things like that. For me, I'm trying to learn from other people's experience, and I'm worried about the impact of what happens when we see another thing like this. So it's all good in the short term, like everything's awesome right now, but what about when there's the next crash or anything? Like, what have you learned from that?
We learned to save money. Like, it's really good to have savings when shit hits the fan. That's it. That, and the point I'm trying to make. I believe the singular reason that I've been financially successful is because I don't care about financial success. Like, find your process, find your thing, live within your means. This goes back to a lot of the things I'm thinking about. When people do things for other people's affirmation, it makes them incredibly emotionally vulnerable. So we're in a very special time here. Find a thing that makes you happy to be doing it, not because of any other part. And so if you can find something you love, when shit hits the fan, you're not gonna be looking for the next trend. You're gonna be chilling here for another 2, 3, 4 years, waiting for it to flip back up. That's a beautiful feeling. It's fun to be in the shit when it's the shit that you like being in.
Hey Gary, my name is Buddy.
Nice to meet you.
And I'm here because of you. I'm watching your Discord, watching VeeFriends. I do want to give a shout out to that piano player who was playing earlier.
Was crushing it.
Yeah. That's what I do. I'm a musician.
Amazing.
And I'd love to hear your thoughts on the space for musicians and also creatives who are in the screenwriting and movie industries.
I think movies and albums will be funded through NFT projects. I think it's so black and white. I think there's a couple hurdles we have to get over, but here is the music industry. In 2021, 2022, you put music out for free on SoundCloud, you get viral on TikTok, you've built the audience. This is what the record label used to have to do for you. You built the audience, right? You made the music. Now you've got some leverage in 2022. There's no A&R like it used to be. There's no building it up. Now labels are swooping in. You've already got a community. You've already got a brand. They can see that you have 2.7 million followers on TikTok. Now they're signing you to give you an upfront bag, right? To then keep 80% of the action after they pay back 100% of the cost they sunk in. That's a bad deal. I don't know
anyone in my industry who's like, I'll take that.
I know tons of people that do it. You know why? Because they come with a $3 million or $500,000 or $4 million upfront bag, and that's game changing for them in that moment, especially when a lot of the musicians come up and don't have anywhere close to that kind of money, and they know they're making a deal that isn't phenomenal, but they can't offset how impactful that short-term dollars is, and that's okay. I think the 2024 version of it is you build on SoundCloud, you build on TikTok, or whatever SoundCloud and TikTok are of 2024, and then you make a project where your album art represents royalties, you keep 80%, and your original fans who fuck with you heavy by 20%, and then God willing, you become Nirvana. And could you imagine buying NFTs of Nirvana's first album and could you imagine waking up every morning and getting streaming revenue because you fucked with Nirvana in 1991? There will be people, I got laughed at when I wrote Crush It about people are gonna make money on YouTube and live their life. Go read the first reviews of it on Amazon of Crush It. This fucking, yeah, you're gonna make money on YouTube, right? Like, it was absurd. There are gonna be an enormous amount of people that retire because they bought 10 NFTs from an artist they believed in, that artist hit, and they're getting pennies on the dollar of every play. You know, sure, you might get 1 cent for every time it plays. Guess what happens when it gets played 47,000 times a day? Shit fucking adds up. I think the audience, and you know what's funny about the music industry? Early fans usually get pissed when their artists get big. They're like, oh, now they fucking sold out. I used to go and I could fucking, now they're in this fucking state. They get mad. Now they're gonna get rich.
What's your name?
Hi, Vicky.
Hi, Gary. Question, obviously, Jodee mentioned about the importance of this theatre today, which gave me goosebumps for women. Everybody here, how can we make a concerted effort to get more women, which will ultimately be our next generation, or the girls in the space? Because at the moment, there is a distinct lack of women, and I'm definitely here to support the women getting in this space.
So I have some tremendous news. Watch this. If you're a woman, please stand up. Vicky, and some women in here might have been there. Vicky, the 2006 Web 2.0 version of this conference had a hell of a lot less women. Yeah. This is what I keep saying about the world. We're incredibly good about pointing out what sucks about the world, but we don't have a good perspective of taking a step back and realizing how many good things are going on, right? And so the only thing anybody can do is take on personal responsibility. There's nothing else. You know that. We can pontificate, you can scold people, you can motivate people. It's a single person game, right? The way we can get more people, and by the way, there's the woman factor in this space. I'm actually, very, and my mom's my hero and I pay attention to these things. Like, I'm actually pretty optimistic. I think Black and other minorities, I think we have a lot of work to do, and that's what I've been spending a lot of time on. But you can only do what you can do, right? As you know, I am more aware of my platform, so what have I been doing? I've been spending a fuckload of hours putting in the work to find female artists that I believe in, and I've been more active in promoting those projects. That's what I decided to do, but what we can do is what we can do. Telling people to do things has never worked in the history of time, and we're in a place now where when we do, people actually push harder the other way. What we need to do is, if you care about it, guys and girls, if you care about it, you have to put in work for it. You need to put in work for it. So if you care about this issue, support a female artist, right? Bring in a female. Who runs VaynerNFT? Avery. You do your actions. You can't tell people to do shit. They're gonna run the other way.
Is Avery here? Avery here? You guys will get to meet Avery. She's gonna be one of our MCs. So thank you. I think we have time for one more question. I think we have to have a woman after that. Another one.
Well, Vicky was a woman, Jodee.
I said another.
Fair enough. I just love him, razzing.
Are you still grumpy with me about the flipping thing?
Hi, Gary.
Hi.
My name is Emily, and I'm holding VeeFriends.
Thank you. Who's holding VeeFriends? Thank you.
So my question is similar to her as well. I'm originally from Japan. I've been in the States for almost 10 years. I came here when I was 18 years old. And I'm a little bit shy type of person, but you told me that, like, pushing myself to say hi or asking questions, so here I am.
Good for you.
And I'm working for a company where I'm working for his company where it helps Japanese international students. And like we're actually want this NFT communities into like collaboration with NFT possibilities in the future, especially for Japan, because Japan is, I think Asian country, especially Japan, is the most conservative country, and there are people who are really afraid to go outside of their comfort zone. And I know you're talking a lot of marketing stuff and in the world trending, but sometimes you say, except Japan. So what do you think?
Only except Japan, because Line is a dominant
Yeah.
social network. It's not about the culture. I mean, as a
Right.
matter of fact,
Right.
when you look at Japanese influence on
Yes.
IP,
Yes.
I think Japan is
It's
going
really
to be an
hard,
incredibly natural place where a lot of NFT activity is going to happen. When you
Yeah.
think about Pokemon, Hello Kitty, Babe, like I'm actually quite bullish on Japan as a country and an ecosystem in being
Yes.
a player in this space over the next decade.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you suggest that
I
I
suggest-
can, or, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, what do I
What do you suggest for, like, you know, for Japan to be?
I think Japan's gonna do what they did in the
Okay.
80s, 90s, and 2000,
Yes,
which is, I don't think
for sure.
anybody here is confused, whether it's Transformers or other things I mentioned. Japan, I actually think, is the originator of a ton of influential IP and brands, and like in street culture and things of that nature. I think Japan's gonna moonwalk to being a factor in this space over the next decade.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Oh, do you think we have time for one last one? What does our stagehand say? Yeah, I'm in trouble already, but we'll do one last one. Thank you very much. Pick me, pick me. Okay.
Gary, what's up? Jodee, thank you. I'm Michael from Syracuse.
Hey,
So, first of all, longtime fan, dude. Love you.
Thank you, love you back.
So I have I'm at bat here, so I'm gonna take a swing. Tomorrow I'm gonna be minting a crypto New Yorker, and so that's my foray into NFTs. And it was very interesting because it's an in real life minting experience. So it kind of meant a lot to me at that time, and it was in July that I did it in Venice, California, at Bright Moments Gallery. So tomorrow we're gonna be minting, and I nominated you to join our community, and I didn't know how the fuck I was gonna get in touch with you. The community voted, and you won, and now I'm here, and I'm minting tomorrow. If you're free, I would love to bring you and have you meet the people in the community and mint.
Let's shake his hand.
Yeah, okay. Jodee told me to shake his hand. It was very awkward what he just did.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Hi.
What's up, brother?
So you mean physically?
I just want you to know that he does what I tell him
I don't
to.
wanna
Isn't that
bullshit.
fantastic?
Yeah, I listen to everything you say. What time? 3 p.m. 3?
Oh, wow.
Don't clap. It's highly unlikely. 3 p.m.?
Between 3 and 3, 5. 150 Wooster Street.
Fine.
150 Wooster Street.
I'll never remember it here. Email yourself and then email me. 100%. New York!
Yahoo! It's a full house. It's a full
fucking
house.
full house.
It's a full
I
house.
like it up there. What's good up there?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so happy. Are you stealing my fucking NFTs? Why is he transferring all my shit to him? You own 59 punks. Thank you, brother. New York, I love you. I love this community. Thank you. Have a great time. Thank you, brother. Have a great, great, great time. Enjoy. Be thoughtful. Thank you. Thank you. Be thoughtful, please. Jodee, thank you. We'll see you soon.